So Paul actually ended up flying in the toilet to Geneva with the client.
When you know 100 people, you know the rest of the world.
Yeah, I travel probably 70% of the year. 20 million US dollars. And I think it's one of the most expensive timepieces in the history of all watchmaking, actually.
If you don't bring the passion for what you're doing every day, you cannot succeed professionally. There's no way. Hi, Laurence. Great to have you here.
Thank you. Great to see you, Bernhard.
You're one of our most important partners, and not just a partner, as a friend as well. So, very welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here in the Ritz-Carlton in Vienna. Thank you for the invitation. And of course, you're one of our important partners as well that gives such great experience and value to our customers. So, lovely to be here. Thank you.
Great. Laurence, introduce you a bit yourself, what you're doing, what is your partnership about, what is your real motivation, what you are passionate about it, because I learned that you are really passionate about what you're doing, which I love. You know, we have this claim, passion to profession, and you are one of the icons, I would say, for that. So, and I'm sure our audience will learn a lot about you, and you will inspire them, actually.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm Laurence Brannigan, and I'm very blessed to be in a position where, along with my business partners, we co-founded the UK Jacob & Co. Distribution business, and that's grown into a hybrid of distribution and retail. We started that 3 years ago, and then we've increased our territory hold, so we now also look after Australia. Two territories very far from one another, but both English speaking, which is a base for us in the business with the language.
And still Commonwealth, right?
And still Commonwealth, and both have synergies between them in the markets that make them quite similar in some respects, and that made it a really good potential location for us to push the brand, basically. We work very closely with Jacob Arabo himself, along with Benjamin, his son, who is the CEO of Jacob & Co. globally. We're like a little family business on the side of their family business, if that makes sense. But I think that the overriding rule is that family is very important, and this huge passion into profession that you mentioned is at the forefront of everything. Because without having a passion and a drive and that motivation to network, meet people, entertain people, and give the most exquisite and exclusive consumer experience, we wouldn't be where we are today with the business.
Tell us a bit more about Jacob & Co. I mean, it's a premium brand. And what are the core values, and what is the brand really about it? What are the real strengths and makes Jacob & Co. such a strong brand?
Yeah, so I think the core strength is being inspired by the impossible. So Jacob & Co. is all about breaking barriers, bringing new, bold innovations to the forefront of watchmaking. So we create a lot of world firsts that have never been seen before. I mean, one of our recent products, the Revolution, now rotates in 1 minute. And just 2016, we could only rotate in 20 minutes. And over this period of years of development, R&D, more specialists getting the brains working and delivering these incredible timepieces for us to then present to the world, makes this brand extremely unique.
So it's not just about design, it's also about design and technology.
It's engineering, yeah. Design, technology, engineering.
It's always cutting edge technology.
Completely. It's like you love the Formula One, and I see you very often at the Formula One, and recently you were with Mr. Bottas on one of your podcasts, and we look at that as the pinnacle of motorsport, and I think that we're at the pinnacle of haute horology, high-level watchmaking. And that's what Jacob & Co. is delivering today.
What drives it that the technology gets constantly pushed forward?
Well, I think that Jacob himself, in particular, along with his family, drive it in a sense of the vision. What's next? Cutting-edge innovation, because he's bringing the designs forward, and then the teams, specialist teams based in Switzerland, are bringing these amazing innovations to life. And that's a really special thing. And I think that having, Swiss-made product, a lot of it handmade or very specialist machining involved, allows us to create very, very special, unique pieces. And that's why some of our pieces are limited edition, because we can't produce them in abundance. It's not possible. You can only produce so many of these over a long period of time to build a few. So that makes those products very special, very collectible. And I think for me, the biggest innovation to date, in my view, or one of the most exciting timepieces from the brand to date, would be the Everest piece that Jacob did along with Johan Ernst Nielsen, who's one of the world's most incredible explorers. And he created the Everest watch with Jacob & Co., bringing water from the North Pole in a thermos flask, water from the South Pole in a thermos flask, and the rock that he collected from the top of Mount Everest, and then collating that and encapsulating it into an incredible timepiece with such a story behind it. Nobody else is doing that. Wow, and that sets us apart.
Since I met you a few years ago, I learned that you're a really very visionary person. So how did you find Jacob, or did Jacob find you?
So I'm really lucky. Richard, who is one of our founding business partners in the UK with us, had a connection with Jacob's brother-in-law. They'd been sort of in discussions for a few years, back and forth, with different ideas on how to launch the business in the UK. And all together, with myself and my experience internationally, Richard's experience domestically and his connection, our other partner, Paul, and our other partner, Stephen, the four of us together were able to become almost like a dream team, like you've got a dream team. We were like the founding dream team that could come together, and then we were able to convince, because of our skill set and everything that was required, to deliver for Jacob as a brand into the market. And we've now, probably become one of the most exciting partners that Jacob works with. We had another call this week with the marketing team, and sometimes I don't think they can quite grasp how much we do, how many events we're attending, what we're delivering, the visibility for the brand, the partnerships that we've got, like GlobeAir, and so on and so forth. So all of these connections together have allowed us to develop and build on the business.
There are so many watch brands out there, right? Even in the premium market. What would you say why a customer specifically selects Jacob & Co?
Emotions, experiences, and a celebration of success. I think those are the key components to answer that.
Would you say that the customers are emotionally connected to the brand and not just watch collectors?
I think that we have some watch collectors, of course. We've had a few that it's been their first brand that they've entered because it suits their style. They, feel connected to the ethos of the brand. And then we've had those that have already got it all. They have the Patek Philippe, they have the Jaeger LeCoultre, they have Rolexes and so on and so forth. But with our timepiece, we go over and above into a new echelon for them. And therefore, that timepiece is a sign of success on the customer's wrist, because there are so much fewer and so much limited product in the marketplace of Jacob & Co. because of what it stands for and the exclusivity, that it's incomparable to all of the other manufacturer brands that produce a lot more units than we do every year. So to have something so exclusive that's a sign of success, with advocates like Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, Khabib, and Rihanna, and other endorsements from amazing celebrities and friends of the brand around the world, this is what resonates with that client, and they realize Jacob & Co. is the symbol of success.
Laurence, tell us a bit more. How is the process? So let's say someone is interested in a Jacob & Co. He has seen maybe some ads or have seen the watch somewhere on social media and so on. So, and then how is the process? What is the, I'm sure there's quite a bit of consultancy needed, guiding the prospect to the right watch. How is this working?
Yeah, there's two different routes, I guess. So there's a route where the consumer goes through a retail partner. So that could be a partner like Bucherer, Selfridges of London, somebody like that. And they're consulted through their process. We can be added into that. So, for example, I'm actually flying with you on Monday morning from Ljubljana into London City to make a meeting at 2 p.m., which wouldn't be possible through commercial aviation. So we're flying with GlobeAir, which is fantastic.
Thanks for that, yeah.
You're welcome. And I will work with Bucherer's team on Monday to assist them with high technical information that's required to assist their client to make a decision on which piece to purchase. So that's one route, is the retailer route.
The customer is really interested in the technical details.
They are in some instance, especially when it gets to the pinnacle level. Because when we're talking about tourbillon, a gravitational tourbillon, a 1-minute flying tourbillon, there's so many different options that only a specialist can really sit down with that person and to give them the information they need, and also to put it in simplistic terms that one can understand without having the training that I've had over a 21-year career. So I'm trying to condense 21 years of experience into a time over a coffee or a lunch with somebody, essentially, which is more challenging to do. But that's what we can offer. And then the other approach is sometimes at the high level pinnacle piece, the customer may wish to purchase directly from the brand. And in that case, they can come to us. And that's where emotions and experience take precedent above all else and almost go before the product, because it's all about delivering something memorable, because we want them never to forget that experience of shopping with Jacob & Co.
And how does it work then, Laurence? So you get notified, obviously, that the watch is ready for delivery. And how is this delivery process? How does this work?
So we do different types of delivery process, and it's not a one-size-fits-all. It's personal. So during the process, we get to know you as the customer. We want to know you, but not as a customer. We want you to become our friend, and we want to become your friend, and we will be mutually beneficial to one another as life moves on. We'll probably network together and many other things. So therefore, we curate that experience specifically to you. So you might be a client, and I'll give you a beautiful example, probably one of my favourite that we've done so far actually in the business, where one of our clients we met at a supercar dealership event just before Christmas. We had no watches with us at this event because we'd actually just sold them all. So we had nothing to show, just what we had on our wrist. We met this particular client. We had a chat. 10 minutes later, he returns with the Instagram page of Jacob & Co. Can you get me this? I'll check. Okay, we can get that for you. When? It's going to be about 2 weeks. Okay, great. We met that client for dinner 2 Thursdays later. Had dinner, made a beautiful handover over the dinner. Epic X, £21,500 watch. Super happy. 3 months later, same customer. Laurence, can you look at getting me this timepiece? And I said, whoa. I said, hang on a minute. We've jumped up a bit here. This is a £340,000 watch. I said, if I inquire about this watch, I'll get a lot of questions from Jacob. So we need to be kind of sure that we've really got this interest here. Yeah, definitely, 100%. You'll have the money in the bank tomorrow by 5 p.m. I'm celebrating, making a partial sale of the business. I said, fantastic, congratulations. The next day, sure enough, the money was in the account. We immediately called yourselves, spoke to Jonathan, your VP. We booked a beautiful Phenom 300 that you sourced from us within the market, because we needed a slightly bigger jet, because this particular client wanted to bring 5 of his family members with him, great, plus myself and my business partner, Paul. The funny part of the story is that we all got on this plane. There's not really any space for Paul, because I was on the dual seat. The food, catering and drinks were next to me on this seat. So Paul actually ended up flying in the toilet to Geneva with the client. So he still says to this day that he's been on a private jet, but he's not had the full experience. But the good thing is we put the customer first. They absolutely love this experience. And before taking off, I had a magician come and entertain them in the private jet terminal. So this completely set the tone before getting on the plane. All their minds were blown by the magician. So for 1 hour, 35 minutes flight time, they were all just talking about this amazing magician, and we got everybody in a good mood. Arrived in Geneva, went into the boutique, had this emotional moment presenting this timepiece to the client in front of his family. They were all in tears. They were filming it. I got emotional. Paul got emotional. The people that work in the boutique were emotional. It was an incredible moment. And it was really a moment of realization of it is a sign of success, this Jacob & Co. timepiece, because he already had everything he needed in life. He had the supercars, the home, the holiday home, all of that. But this watch was that moment of, I've made it. And it was just an incredible mic drop moment. And we'll never forget it. And he'll never forget it. And I know from when he visits certain locations that people phone me and say, we've seen the watch, we've heard the story. And seeing the watch is great, hearing the story is even better.
It's great.
And that's a great message.
Yeah. And he's actually wearing the watch as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I could show you pictures where he travels and he sends me a picture, still looking amazing, absolutely lovely. And that was an Astronomia solar timepiece.
Wow, very nice.
Very special edition. Yeah. So he'll know, listen to this, who we're talking about. Yeah, it's really special.
So you really keep a relation and build friendships.
Absolutely. It's like a mini concierge service. Yeah. So even from that moment, because that was his first experience flying private, he then contacted me, please can you book me a jet to go somewhere? And then that's also been arranged with yourselves for him and his friends to go somewhere. So we've made extra things happen. And then he'll be joining me in a few weeks' time at a particular event. And I've organised the room there for him and given him the agenda. So rather than the destination and location just looking after him on my behalf, I still like to take the time for people that have purchased from us, that have become friends, to really look after them in a detailed way.
So your job is not really sitting in a nice shop and waiting that some customers are walking in. I sense that you and your partner Paul are really traveling a lot and meeting customers and building new networks and so on. So you're quite busy.
Very, very. I would say
it's a lifestyle.
Yeah, I travel probably 70% of the year, and that's a challenge because I've got 2 young daughters and a wife that I also have to keep happy at home. But they're very supportive of what we're doing, and yeah, the traveling, the networking, the events, brand awareness. You can only do that by meeting people in the right circumstances that are within the zones and the frameworks that we match one another, and that's really important.
But this means you need a lot of energy, right?
Of course.
So where do you get your energy every day? What motivates you to wake up in the morning?
I just love it. I just love it, Bernhard. Honestly, every day. I never have that Sunday night feeling of it's Monday tomorrow. I've got to go. I don't even consider it work. This to me is living out a lifelong passion of 21 years of being a watch lover and a journey through my career to get to this point now. And I just love going out, meeting new people, keeping the friendships with those that we've already met. And sometimes I don't know how I do it, to be honest, because it is a lot to do that and to manage that. And we're a small team. But I don't, you know, if a customer last night messaged me at 10 o'clock and I'll answer that at 10 o'clock at night, it's not a problem for me. And when I wake up early in the morning, 5:30, 6 a.m., I'm straight on to Australia. And I'm thinking, what's happening in Australia? What have they done today? Catch up. And so on and so forth. And then I'll maybe fly, like last week I flew to another country. Now I'm in Vienna today. We're going to Ljubljana tomorrow to meet the Cannon Run, another one of our partners. And they've got a road tour with supercars that'll be in Ljubljana for the evening. So we'll go and we'll network with them. We'll have some fun with them. Yeah, sure. And then on Monday morning, I'll fly with you from Ljubljana into London City. And then I'll help our retail partner with a client there. So it's a constant cycle of energy. And yeah, I'm just very blessed. Touch wood, I have an abundance of energy. I can work all day, every day. And I don't believe in jet lag. So I can fly to Australia with Emirates, who I absolutely love as well, and spend 24 hours on the plane. I'll arrive into Australia. I'll land at night. I'll be straight out for dinner usually with some people in the network, and then good sleep, and then the next morning, bang, up, straight in for breakfast, good bit of eggs on toast or something, and off we go again for the next day.
Okay. What's roughly the percentage of customers buying more than one watch from you?
I would say probably about 40%.
Okay. So, and this means also through your networking and events, your customers meet as well, right?
They do.
And then they're sharing their passion and talking about the watch?
Yeah, well, they're definitely doing that for sure. And that makes my life really easy because they do all the selling between themselves. And it gets very competitive with these individuals, imagine, high net worth, self-driven, motivated entrepreneurs. They love nothing more than to sell themselves. So I let them do that in the room, and I'll sit back and relax, and I'll take the orders at the end. It's great. So that definitely happens. But I think what's also really important about the networking is that we're there to help each other. And I think the entrepreneurial mindset that the individuals that we're meeting have is we're all out to help each other. It's not just about the commodity or making the sale, the purchase, whatever it might be. It's helping each other. And I think that the fact that everyone has that understanding allows one another to grow. So if you want to meet someone in your business, there'll probably be someone in the network that can make that happen. And then we'll invite them to the same event and we'll get them in the room together and we'll make it happen.
Are you collecting watches as well?
Absolutely. You don't have a 21-year career in watches and jewellery and not collect some along the way. I've also been stupid and sold some along the way that I regret. In particular, a Breitling emergency mission that I had when I was really young, bought that at the age of 21, and sadly sold it a few years later. And yeah, maybe I'll buy that one back again in the future. I think that's probably one I'd like to re-add to my collection. But I actually brought a couple of pieces here.
Great, yeah, show us a bit
my personal collection. It's something a little bit different. So I have at home, I have in particular a Rolex Submariner that's very sentimental to me. So a friend of mine, John the jeweler from Rochdale, helped me get into the industry in the beginning. And when we first met, he was wearing the Submariner Rolex, steel and Rolessa with the blue dial, blue bezel. And I said to myself, one day I'll have that watch. And it was probably, it must be 16 or so years later, because it was 2018, 5th of November, Guy Fawkes night in the UK, that my wife treated me to that watch. And that was an amazing moment. So that particular watch is very sentimental for two reasons: that my wife bought it for me, but also that historical entering the industry 21 years ago and being guided by a friend that was wearing that type of watch as well. And then in my personal collection of today, I brought a couple of pieces here which are not necessarily the most expensive pieces in the world, but extremely rare. So these are limited edition artist series pieces from Madoo. Madoo was a brand that I used to represent in a previous career stage. And this particular watch, you can have a look at it. This is the Max Bill edition. So this is made of solid silver rather than stainless steel. And it has a mechanical Movado movement. And Movado, to my knowledge, haven't produced their own movements since sort of the early 90s, really. I think these were the last of them. So this is a really special and rare piece.
Looks awesome, actually.
It's really unique. And then for me...
Fits perfectly to the Pride Month, right?
Yeah, exactly. It does. And it was Pride Day with the parade today in Vienna, which was amazing. It was extremely busy. And this is Eclipse Elapse. So this is also from the artist series. Very extraordinary
design, right?
Exactly.
Never seen such a thing. These are 3 watches in one.
3 time zones in one watch. And again, mechanical, all hand-wound movements from Movado from the 90s. So I'm lucky enough that I own 4 of the artist series pieces. And they're just something completely different and unique. Not many people in the world will have these. And they're just a lovely keepsake, having had a 10-year career with the Movado group. And something, personally special to me. I have never worn any of them. You're probably the first person to ever touch them.
Thank you.
Other than myself.
But you take them out once in a while, and
I just look at them, yeah, which sounds a bit sad, doesn't it? But it's that they're just special to me for the reason that they've been part of my career. And then we have the amazing Jacob & Co. watches, of course, which this is one of my favourites here, which is the rose gold chronograph edition.
Oh,
so this is spectacular.
Very elegant.
It's very
right?
similar to your watch. You're wearing the only watch in that colour that we ever had, which just happened to perfectly match GlobeAir's brand DNA colours with the red. But this is the rose gold. This is a brand new watch for 2024. It's absolutely beautiful.
Very elegant.
Yeah,
actually.
Stunning. So that's one of my favourite timepieces at the moment. And of course, we have to mention the one that I'm wearing, which is in the sky blue colours on the Epic X with the fully skeletonized movement. That's a spectacular.
Looks very
daily
technically.
Timepiece. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
What's the most expensive Jacob & Co. watch, if I may ask?
$20 million US. And it's the Jewel, which is...
it's a one design...
It can only be a one-off because they are yellow Ashoka-cut diamonds. You can't repeat such a thing. I think it's for every 10,000 white diamonds is one yellow. So that's the rarity of the yellow. Then you've got to find enough of them that match each other to be able to curate and then create the watch and the bracelet, which fully encrusting the case and bracelet. So this rarity, the amount of stone that's actually on the timepiece, and the timepiece is a part of our billionaire collection. Those start at $3.5 million US, but this is like the key piece at $20 million US. So that's currently been our most expensive timepiece ever made. And I think it's one of the most expensive timepieces in the history of all watchmaking, actually.
And it's sold. There's an owner.
I believe it may be sold, yes. I haven't seen it for a little while.
Okay.
So it may be, yes. So, I definitely need to ask you. So how did you come to have GlobeAir? Is this born from a hobby of yours? Did you always dream of being a pilot? How did you get into this?
It's a very good question, actually. So I remember back in my teenager years that I always was fascinated with planes and aviation. Mm-hmm. So I loved to go with my parents on airports and seeing this. But I never had the idea to become a pilot. I only knew that there's this airline pilots, and I was more into technical stuff. And so great planes and the industry I was fascinated about, but I had not really the dream to become a pilot. And later on in my career, actually, we are here in Europe, in Vienna, and not far from here, Karlsplatz, there is my university. I have been for a few years and then graduated as a mechanical engineer. And then I had the chance to have a great career being an engineer in Eastern Europe. So the company I was working for was based here in Vienna, and then I had to travel to Eastern Europe, quite often I would say. So every week, 1 or 2 days in different countries, Poland, Romania, Bulgaria, Croatia, and also the whole region. The most of the time I spent in the car because commercial airlines, there were not bad connections. Train was not really available. So the only way to get to those destinations was by car. And soon I asked myself, well, I've not been at the university for so many years that now I'm becoming a chauffeur. So I need to change this. It was about time efficiency. So and being so many hours in the car, I learned how important time becomes, right? And I was constantly thinking, well, how can I optimize my time? Because every one of us has 24 hours, and some of those we have to sleep. So I was thinking, how can I be more time efficient? And then eventually I said, okay, I do my private pilot license, and then I'm renting a small plane, and then I do my trips on this small plane. And yeah, I did actually. So I had my PPL, and I was renting a small plane, these single piston engines like a Cessna. Cessnas. I had to learn very quickly, this is not going to work and last for long. The minute the weather was bad, I couldn't fly, so I had to cancel my meetings. So it was a bit disappointing, actually. So it was, the concept was great, but in reality, it didn't work out. And I remember many years ago, I would say more than 20 years ago, I asked my flight instructor, so what should I do that I can fly at any given weather condition and so on? I said, well, it's quite easy. You need an air traffic pilot license and you need a jet. I said, oops, that's steep, But luckily, I found other 5 companies who had the same need. So I presented the idea. So, let's buy together a plane, a jet, and we use it, and, we find a way how to coordinate the need. We all become way more efficient, and we really can scale up our time. And they were all convinced. So it was 6 of us. We purchased an aircraft, and the fun part was, let's do all together the license as well, which was tricky. I completely underestimated. I have huge respect from every airline pilot now, because I know what effort and time investment it takes to get through the entire training, the theory, and then also the practical training was really time consuming. I completely underestimated, and it took me more than 2 years to finish it. But afterwards, it was the time machine. It was literally the time machine. So I was flying for years, thousands of hours, like a car. I had a meeting, in the morning in Warsaw. We continued to Sofia, back in Dubrovnik in late afternoon, and in the evening back home in Vienna. So it really was a time-efficient tool. So, and over time, I got more and more interest in the whole industry. I dig deeper and deeper and deeper, and then there was then this idea and the dream to start an airline in this sector, because I was actually convinced that there must be more people out there who have a tight schedule and they need to optimize the time. And this helped to build a company, because our concept and our idea deep down in our really core DNA is time. It's not about flying, it's not about fancy jets. It's we wanna give back time to our customer. They should have a great time. They should have quality time with their family, with their business partners, flying to nice places to recharge their batteries. So we want to be the enabler for quality time. And this is deep down in our DNA, because it was my very first experience. And this is where we have the same values. It's about time, even when you have a nice watch on your wrist, it's quality time. Every time you look at it, wow, this is great, As you told us the story earlier, your customer sold his business and treated himself with the great masterpiece of Jacob & Co. And I'm sure every time he looks at his watch, he has his memories. Yeah. So it's about good time, it's about quality time, and this is our core concept.
And how many years now have GlobeAir been in operation?
So the idea of this airline started back in 2002. Since then, I was thinking and thinking. It was then 2005 where I quit my job and said, well, I want to focus now on this. And then I was doing my research and forming a business plan. I had no network in the industry, so I went out for 2 years to every exhibition, to every conference, to learn the right people and to understand the business, not just as a pilot, but really to, how does it work? What are the financials behind, and so on and so forth. I would say it was the end of 2006. The business plan was ready, and the company was founded in 2007. So 17 years ago, GlobeAir was entered in the Register of Commerce, and since then we are flying.
Amazing. I'm sure that was a very proud moment to
start.
It
was actually.
And we've talked about networking and building relationships. How high up on your agenda was that when you founded GlobeAir?
Very good question, actually, Laurence. So the idea of networking, I created back then when I had no idea about this industry. So I said, okay, I need to learn these people. And I built in, I would say, between 2005 and 2007, a global network of aviators, so people in the industry. So what was a very intense time. I was traveling a lot. I would say I was not at home at all. I had also great support of my wife. Our daughter was just born, and I had to travel a lot to build my network. And I learned how powerful a network can be. If you're open to your network and you're really transparent and honest and tell your needs, and maybe there's someone out there who can help you. It's the same as yours. Yeah. So this is a very small group, really small group actually, which we have the opportunity to serve, and it's not easy to find them. How to find your customer. It's our product. Your product is not a commodity. It's a very bespoke, distinct product, and you have to find your potential customers for that. And I learned quickly, no mass marketing is working because it's so bespoke that you need to find the networks where these people are. And they have different passions. As you said, some are collecting watches, some are collecting supercars, some are, meeting at investor conferences. So we identified those networks and we tried to get into those networks. There's a saying, and I would say I could sign this saying: when you know 100 people, you know the rest of the world. If you're smart in connecting people and how to network. Yeah. So, and today I'm convinced the power of network can scale up any type of business. And still we find, we team up with great partners like Jacob & Co., like with you and Paul, that we meet people through our partners who haven't flown on private jets at all. And then, you tell the story. And this is, I think, the great thing. The same as you do. You tell your story, why you're so passionate about watches and what is behind. It's not just about a fancy watch with a great design and technology. There's always a story behind. Like you just told the Everest, right? There's way more just the watch. Yeah? And I think if you share the stories and if you listen to other stories, it's emotionally connecting. And I'm a strong believer this is only possible through networking.
Interesting. I mean, I'm completely agreeable because we're looking for the many. Well, we're looking for the few, not the many. And
I remember when we had our very first meeting. We had no agenda actually. Yeah.
No.
So and I had the feeling immediately that we have the same mindset on networking and how strong partnerships can be. The value of partnerships, and I think this is really about it. And you demonstrate this all the time. You build your partnerships. Like with Manchester City, and so really impressive. And through this, you scale up your network, you build stronger connections, and I would say it's important that you add value to the network in one or the other way, right? It's not necessarily that you always find a customer, but someone who has the need to learn someone else. You share your stories, so I think it's very important that you give. And my idea is always, give as much as you can into a network, never expect anything, because eventually it always returns.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's like a boomerang effect, isn't it?
Yeah.
Totally agree. Yeah. Totally agree. Passion into profession. You love to quote this.
Yeah, I love
whether
it,
it's on LinkedIn or
that's true.
In a podcast.
Because I'm so convinced about it.
Yeah.
I learned that I had the opportunity that I can really do what I'm passionate about it. And my passion is aviation, in fact. And I still like to be up in the air, right? Flying our jets. And I like it. Like day one. There's no difference to me. Today, when I'm in a plane, when I'm in the office, everything smells of jet fuel.
Yeah.
This is what drives me every day. I think passion is so important that you can transform it in a professional business. If you don't bring the passion for what you're doing every day, you cannot succeed professionally. There's no way. You know, there's no one out there doing an 8 to 5 job, not passionate about, can't be successful. I'm convinced about that. And then it turns out, as you said, it's not a job. You know, it's your life, it's your passion, and it's everything. It's your life, it's your hobby, it's your profession. Yeah, this is so important. That's why I put this claim out there, passion to profession, because I want to inspire and motivate other people to think about what is their passion. Because I have seen so many people have not found their passion, and I feel sorry for them because I think it's so important in life. And this drives everything: your health, your fitness, you know, how you communicate, how you build your, your friendships and so on. It's everything about passion. And then you have a story to tell.
Of course. And I think you can do so much more when it's coming from the heart.
Yeah.
And it is your passion.
Exactly.
And you'll be more successful in life.
So true.
If you can live out your passion.
Yeah.
And we're lucky that we're two people that are able to do that.
Correct, yeah.
One of the things that you've probably developed a better skill of, and especially because you've got such a large workforce. I'm a team of 4, of which we're all co-founder directors, so it's not quite the same.
Not yet.
So we're all motivated in a similar way because it's our company and we want it to succeed. But for you, you have quite a significant number of employees in different areas. So it might be you've got salespeople, you've got marketing people, you've got people that are working to operate the jets, and engineers. Then you've got the pilots and all these different areas, operations. The one thing I've noticed is that this passion into profession lives out through all of those employees as well, which is a huge credit to you, clearly, as the CEO and founder of the business. How have you managed to acquire such an incredible workforce that I've been lucky enough to spend time with, some of them very regularly, and I've met pretty much everybody having visited the headquarter at Linz. Everyone's got a smile on the face all day. They're super passionate. They love GlobeAir. They will go out of their way for GlobeAir. And that's an amazing thing. So how have you transcended this passion into profession through that large workforce that you've got?
I was lucky in my early days of my career that I had a manager who taught me one thing. Because back then, my task was building a team from 10 team members up to 600. This was my target. I was highly motivated about that as a young person, just a little experience. He guided me quite well through this process, how to build such a team. But there was one thing which is still in my memories, and I'm lucky enough that I'm still in contact with this person. His name is Fred. That he said, you only can build a great workforce and a team by telling and building values. You can write down processes, policies, and stuff like that. This is maybe needed, but fundamentally important are what are your core values? Yeah, this is so key element. From the very early, on the onboarding process, even in the interviewing process, that for us it's about time. It's really, time is our thing. It's not flying a jet or selling flights. It's about time. And this is so key that everybody understands what is our core product and and what are the values we are standing for. Like, you know, really excellent in customer service, focus on customer, deliver what you promise, you know. So really build your business, your core business around values. I think this is one of the most important things which drives us every day. And secondly, I don't know, but I feel it, that I think everyone in the team knows that I'm passionate about this. You know, it's not just I'm the CEO and coming to the office but I'm passionate about this. And when people feel that you're passionate about that, then there's a completely different mood and approach to the entire business. I also have some days which are not that great, you know, they have some demanding situations to solve and so on, but everyone knows, okay, we do it with passion. Yeah. So, and I think that first, everyone in the team, you know, really everyone knows what is our core product, which is time. And secondly, is about, we are passionate about it.
That's awesome. And for us, it shows. It's why we became a customer of yours in the beginning, and then later official timekeeping partner.
This is what we share, Laurence. It's passion. The first meeting, I remember, I saw this guy is passionate about that. And this fascinates me. This drives me. I like people being passionate about it.
Thank you. Me also. So in your journey as an entrepreneur, what would you say that the most valuable lesson that entrepreneurship has taught you so far?
Very good one, actually, and I had to learn the hard way. Hire only really talents and trust those talents. I have maybe ways how to sort of things and so, but I learned that my job is to motivate people to give the best. Mm-hmm. It's not that I can do everything, you know. There are so many people who can do things way better than I can. Trust your team members and hire those where you're convinced about they are passionate and they have a talent in a certain area, and motivate that they give everything for their talent. You know, sometimes I see things developed in the team which I would have done differently maybe, or even no clue about that. Trust your talents. This is the key to build any business.
I think last one from me. What does being the leader and the CEO feel like to you on a daily basis?
There are two things. One is that I wake up in the morning and I know I'm as equal as anyone in the team as well. Everyone contributes, so I do my thing. So I'm not superior to anyone. We all wake up and we do our best to our customers. And I do my thing, and I know my colleagues do the same. So it's a team effort. There's not one better or you know. This is, I think, one. And the second thing, I know that I have responsibility. This is the one thing which developed over time, which I was not so aware from the beginning how important this is. When I count the number of team members we have, how many families are behind, you know, they have partners, they have kids, and then you immediately find out this is quite a significant number of people you're responsible for, you know, that the paycheck arrives every first of the month. And this, I feel, is the biggest responsibility. Yeah? And actually, I remind myself almost every day that this is my key function, to ensure that the paycheck is arriving at the first of the day of the month. This is my responsibility. And over time, I learned that this is key. This is key to people, and this is my job. Yeah? And this I take quite serious, I would say.
Amazing.
Laurence, thank you for your time. It's really amazing. And it has a very special emotional link, I would say. I remember a few years ago, we first time met here in the Ritz-Carlton in Vienna. We shared our passion. We had a great talk, I still remember. And the great thing was we walked out of the meeting room and we knew we do something together. We don't know exactly what, but we do something together. And this, what really, I drove away from here, from the Ritz, quite happy. And I was inspired by your passion, actually. It's a great honor that you took your time now. And we are a very proud partner, and I'm sure more to come.
Thank you. Well, absolute pleasure. I mean, for me, again, meeting you a few years ago here as well, I left with exactly the same feeling, super excited. We knew that something was going to happen. You know, we're now official timekeeping partner with Glob Private Jets. We've had several of our client experiences until now, and we will continue to fly with yourselves to make those emotions and experiences all the better. So thank you for the collaboration and the
great.
trust in
Thank
the
you.
beginning. And yeah, keep up your passion with what you do as well. Keep inspiring us. Keep questioning things on LinkedIn. I think everybody loves to follow you on there. And a lot of people comment to me. Even recently, I flew with ACE Europe with Manchester City Football Club to one of the games. And the staff member on there, he was asking me, is it your first time flying private and things? And I said, oh, no. I said, I usually fly with GlobeAir. And immediately they said, oh, my, that man's a legend. He's a legend of the industry. I'm always waiting for his next post on LinkedIn. It's so insightful. He's great for the industry. So I think that you've definitely got peers in other areas of the industry, whether it's pilots, you know, other owners and people in different companies that probably look up to you and think you're doing an amazing job, not just for GlobeAir, but for the industry as a whole. And me as an outsider with a passion for aviation, and I love being on a plane. It's one of my favourite places to be. Just keep doing what you're doing because it's fantastic.
I'll do, I promise. With a great team.
Definitely, the dream team.
Is we move on, yeah? And then let's meet again here at the wonderful Ritz-Carlton.
Definitely.
And we update each other then, yeah?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Thanks so much, Bernhard. Thank you.
Amazing.
Cheers.
Thank you.